Hello, this will be a video about all the OSD options available in Ruby. I will walk you through all the settings, all the OSD capabilities and so on. So what we have here is a Mario air unit with a small beta flight controller. So we have MSP-OSD on this one, and here we have an Emacs air unit and the flight controller that's running Ardu Pilot. So this one we will have MAV-Link telemetry, and of course we have a ground station receiver where we will receive the video from the air unit, and I have a screen capture so we can better see what I'm doing on the ground station. Okay, so let me set up everything and we will proceed. Okay, so now that I have everything set up, let's start. So this is Ruby main screen. As you can see, you can have a lot of OSD stuff on the screen, so let's break it down. Basically, you have three types of elements. One, it's MSP-OSD that you can see right now. We are connected to beta flight. Then you have MAV-Link elements like GPS info, battery voltage and so on. Then you can see these live graphs that you can configure also in the OSD for if you want to see different information. I will walk you through all of those. And the last type of OSD element is a widget or a gadget like you see here. So those gadgets can be actually developed by third parties. Ruby supports a plugin system for such widgets. All the information on the OSD basically comes from three sources: either MSP telemetry from the flight controller, either MAV-Link from the flight controller, of course, and the third type of telemetry, it's Ruby telemetry that's always present between your controller and your airplane. So basically, like you see here, the link quality, frequency and so on, such type of information, it's always available whether you have a flight controller or not. Let's start with MSP-OSD because this one is the simplest one. So as you probably know, MSP-OSD, basically you can configure it directly from Betaflight or iNav, so Ruby doesn't offer a user interface for configuring MSP-OSD, but you still have few options related to MSP. So if you go to settings, OSD, so you can still change like size and color. So for example, if you are flying with goggles and for some reason you cannot see the edges of the screen, you can actually turn the entire OSD, you can make it smaller, so you can see everything including MSP and statistics and everything gets smaller, so you can see it better. Also, you can also change the color of the MSP-OSD. So let's change it to something else to make it visible. Now you see MSP is also changed. So yeah, in MSP-OSD you cannot change so many things. In Ruby you need to use Betaflight to configure your MSP-OSD. What you can do, and we will talk about next, it's actually use multiple screens, and you can disable or enable MSP and statistics in different screens. So let me switch to a flight controller that uses MAV-Link, because then it's easier to see everything 1 second. Okay, so I switched the flight controller on the current drone. So basically, let's see how you change telemetry. You go to settings, telemetry, and here I just change it to MAV-Link, as now we have a different flight controller, and I think it's on 57. Yeah. So now we have a MAV-Link telemetry. Let me change the color back. This one is not. And all the OSD settings in Ruby, of course, are stored for each airplane or drone or whatever you are using, so you can customize it to have a different look and feel for each drone you have. Okay, so all the OSD settings, if it's not clear already, are available in the menu and in the OSD instruments. Ruby has the ability to define different screens, so you have up to 5 screens. For now I enable 2 of them, and you can easily switch between the screens during flight or whatnot. First you go to the controller user interface and you assign the quick action button to do whatever you need. So I assigned one to cycle through the OSD screens and one to just toggle the entire OSD off if you need for some reason. So now, as you can see, if I press a button, it changes to a different screen. So of course you can customize your screens as you need, and if I press the other button, everything goes away except voltage, because that one it's kind of critical and you don't want to not have it on screen. Now if we go back to the menu, as I said, there are multiple types of OSD elements. First you have the classical one, where you can, so they are called elements, where you can configure what you want to see, like flight mode, voltage, speed, video mode, everything. So those are the so to speak, the classical OSD elements. Then you have those widgets, and then you have plugins, and then you have the statistics windows. We will go through each of them. Of course you can change the font size if you want to have it larger or smaller and so on. You can change the transparency, and also you can change the font. We already saw the size and color and so on. You have some additional options that are global, so to speak. You can change the display units, line thickness, altitude type, and so on. I will not go through all of them because they are many. The idea is that you have some type of global settings that in some cases you need to change, like the metric system or imperial system. As we saw, you can define multiple screens, and then an additional option, it's to highlight when something important changes, like for example if you change frequency, or if for some reason the radio link parameters change, they will flash on the screen and so on. The OSD elements are all the classical ones. One addition here is that, let me show you, you see you have this rectangle on screen. Basically you can change it from OSD elements. So if we go to OSD elements, it's the grid overlay, so you can change it as needed. Some people might find it useful, so let's just change it to a crosshair, for example. Widgets, let's talk about widgets. We have few of them defined. So speed, it's the classical speed and altitude widgets. Heading, it's of course the heading widget. And let's go to plugins, because here on the plugins they are basically the new type of OSD widget going forward, and you have more capabilities on this one. So let's take for example the altitude one. You can actually configure it and you can move it and resize it as needed. So you can move it around on the screen, you can resize it, make it bigger, smaller, and so on. And again, this is for each screen and vehicle you have on your controller. And the biggest chunk of OSD stuff is the statistics, and here there are a lot of them. Again, you can make them smaller or larger, you can change transparency. They will auto arrange because there are many of them, so right now I'm having it from left to right. Let me add one more. So right now I have them to auto arrange on the right side. You can change it to auto arrange on the top side, left side, and so on. Usually all statistics will display real-time data depending on what you need. So you have a, let me remove everything because it will be clearer what we are talking about. So let's make it large. Second. Okay. So first one, it's radio statistics. Basically you can see the round trip delay of the radio link, frequency, what's the current data rate, upload, download, how much loaded the system is in encoding and transmitting video, and so on. The second one, it's statistics about your radio interfaces. This controller has a single radio interface, but for each interface you will see a live graph. Basically you will see data as it's received by the controller. So what's with the color white, it's fine, it's okay. When you see red, it means that we had some interferences and some lost data. You can display the downlink, that is a controller side, or you can display both uplink and downlink. So on the uplink, basically you see data as is received by the drone. So the second graph, it's actually data that's coming through telemetry from the airplane. Of course, it's a lower bandwidth. You can change, of course, the resolution if you need to investigate something. So, of course, it will go faster or slower, and so on. So that's radio links, radio interfaces. Here it's mostly for tech people. Basically you can see the type of packets like telemetry, Ruby telemetry, retransmissions, pings, video data, and so on. This one, it's again but the same, but on the vehicle side. This one, I don't even remember. Yeah, it shows again the received packets, but you have a, let me hide it, you have a bigger real estate, so you can more clearly see when you have issues with your link. Okay. So those were statistics mostly about the radio link and radio interfaces, so it was using mostly Ruby internal telemetry. Now we are moving to a different section, to video statistics. So here you can see the video stream as it's received by the controller. You can change and make it, you can see more or less information. So basically you just want to see the video stream as it's decoded. What it means here, it's the color white, everything it's okay. The color green, it means that some data was corrupted, but we were able to error correct it. And one second, let me switch to a frequency where we have a lot of interferences, otherwise it's not clear what I'm trying to say next. So let's move to a frequency, hopefully one that has a lot of noise. Okay. Oh, this is, maybe it's too big. Okay, one second, let me change something to make it easier to see. Okay, so green, it's where error correction managed to recover data, video data. Yellow, it means that we were still able to do error correction, but we are at the edge of having some bad packets that cannot be recovered. And what you see with blue is actual retransmissions that were necessary in order to maintain a consistent video stream, otherwise we would have breakups. And it's not visible here, but when you will see red, it means that also retransmissions failed and you actually will get a momentary breakup in the stream. You can show more information, so let me change it again. Statistics, video. So you can show more or less information depending on what you need. So you see if adaptive video was changed and so on. Again, as with the others, you can change the resolution, so you can make it faster if you want to see more precise details when something happens, or make it slower. Video bitrate history. This one I don't think it's working right now. I'm doing some changes, so you should be able to see a history of the video stream bitrate. Anyway, audio, we don't have any microphone on this device, and efficiency, it's mostly for the playing guys. Basically you can see in real time how much current you are using per kilometer or per hour. There are additional statistics, but it's mostly for the geeks. So basically you need to enter into developer mode. So you go to system, and you can see here you have few options. So you enable developer mode on both controller and vehicle, and now you will have across the Ruby system, you will have additional options that most people don't need, but they are there for people who really want to do some digging. So all the developer options in the menus will be shown with blue. So as you can see now, we have an additional options, a lot more additional statistics windows about the video stream, retransmission, adaptive video, and so on. Let me turn it off. Actually, there is one more statistic. So if you go to System, to the Developer Settings, you can see a graph in real time with a lot of information like video stream, receiver quality, and so on. Okay, so that's pretty much everything that you can do in the OSD. I think we have a bug, it just crashed, doesn't matter. So yeah, you can define custom screens, you can change OSD colors. Let me restart it 1 second. So yeah, you can change OSD colors, font sizes, position on screens, you can enable statistics and so on. So the telemetry types that are supported are MSP-OSD, MAV-Link and LTM. That's pretty much it, what you can do with OSD in Ruby. Thank you.